Hi guys, back in the shop after a little vacation, but it wasn't much of a vacation. The reason I haven't been around is because I've been in the hospital and I got both my hips replaced, which was not that bad, believe it or not. The way they do it now, it's like an assembly line. I had them both done at the same time, and it's quite amazing that literally the day after you have new hips, they have you walking around. I was in the hospital for 4 days. Went from being totally incapacitated to walking around on crutches in those 4 days. Then they sent me to a rehab hospital and I stayed there for, I want to say, 6 days. And from there they still had me on crutches, but they had me going up and down stairs, and they didn't like it when I walked around without them. So after you leave the rehab place, you're homebound, right? You're not supposed to drive for a month. I was driving that day, and there's no big deal. Right now I'm having PT 3 times a week for half an hour. Basically, some torture guy comes out and starts bending you in all these painful contortion type maneuvers, and it's supposed to like make your hamstrings and stuff like that stretch back out to where you can walk normally. There's apparently, when you have crappy hips and you don't go through your range of motion, your tendons and muscles shorten up, and the PT is not to make your hips work any better because they're already like ball bearings now. It's to get your muscles working in groups that make you walk normally. It's been, well, I went on October 26th, and you know, so it's been a month, just about, yeah, almost exactly a month, and you know, I'm walking with no assistance. I got a slight limp, but hey, the good news is my motorcycle's coming out again next year after being parked for 5 years. As soon as this winter's over, I gotta throw a new clutch in it, which will be pretty good video for YouTube. And now that I can straddle the engine, I'm gonna get it back out on the road. So I'm telling you, getting old sucks, but at least they have crap to fix you up. I mean, I gotta say, I thought, you know, when you think about what they do to you, you know, they cut you open, they saw the end of your leg off, they hammer in a spike down there, and they put screws in your pelvis. You know, you'd think you'd be on your ass for like, you know, months, but that's not the case at all. I mean, the one thing they're worried about is you getting an infection. So, you know, they put these bandages on you. They like weld them onto you after the surgery, and they don't come off for like 2 weeks. And they got some kind of silver junk in them that keeps the bacteria from killing you. But I'm telling you, you know, I suffered for 10 years. You guys didn't see it on the videos because I edited all that stuff out of me, you know, hobbling around the shop. And I mean, you can kind of tell the way I've got my shop set up is everything's within one step of everything else, and that's the reason. But you know, I got to tell you, suffering like that, you shouldn't do it. You should consider getting your hips fixed, because like I say, it's no big deal. And I had both of them done, and you know, the worst part of the whole thing is the PT part, where they're like, you know, bending you in all these different ways to try to get your muscles to stretch back out. That, other than that, it's a cakewalk. And I got to go see my doctor in another couple of weeks, and I'm sure he's going to be pissed that, you know, I'm walking around, driving, working in the shop. I mean, yeah, I'm not out there, you know, bench pressing cinder blocks and, you know, stacking firewood and junk. I'm not stupid. But, you know, if you're worried about the pain of it, or, you know, the horrible crap that will happen to you, don't be. You know, I can walk again, man. I can ride my bike again. I can, you know, do stuff that I haven't been able to do for years, just because I can, like, move better now. So anyways, that's the reason that you haven't seen a video from me in quite a while. The stuff that I'm going to show you now, I did a little bit of it a couple weeks ago. You know, so I have been out in the shop. I just didn't really have enough to publish. And, you know, there's a few little tidbits here and there. You're looking at me on a new camera mount. Basically, it's like a Chinese version of a Noga arm. I screwed it onto one of those mag bases I have, you know, these $10 mag bases. And, you know, it works really good. You know, one thing that it has that I haven't tried yet is a hot shoe adapter, which means I could potentially hang it off of something on the ceiling, like an electric light or a plate or something, and hook the mount to the top of the camera. Which, you know, I mean, a lot of my lathe shots you'll see are upside down because of the fact that, you know, where I have to mount the camera and where the mount on the camera is, it just makes it have to be upside down. So, you know, hopefully in the near future, when I figure out how to get that hot shoe mount on there and all that, I'll have some better shots, you know, that you won't have to like go like this to see what I'm doing. Anyways, you know, enjoy this video. And, you know, it's a little cold and rainy today. I had to heat up the shop with the heater. So, you know, it's getting to be that time where you spray everything down with a rust lick. And, you know, fortunately my machines, both of them, there's not a speck of rust on them from that rust controller thing I did. That's been working great. So the only thing I really have to do is go through the toolboxes and, you know, spray the wrenches and the collets and the chucks and all that stuff. But yeah, we'll be making some more videos. You know, the frequency might go down because it is getting colder. I hear we're supposed to have some snow tomorrow. I'm not worried about it. It's, you know, it's been in the 40s, so it'll melt quick. But yep, been burning the wood stove. Having some problems with that. My draft motor has started acting up, and I found that the feedback output is not tracking what the RAM is doing on it. So I got some emails into the tech support over there about, you know, if something can be remedied in that area. If not, I'll have to get another one. You know, the one that's on there now was the one that I developed the software with, and, you know, I must admit I beat the living crap out of it before I got the servos tuned up right. I mean, that thing was seesawing back and forth all night, you know. But now I've got the servos tuned up, so if I do end up having to get a new one of those, you know, it's a drop-in replacement, and hopefully it'll last for more than a couple of years. because you know they're not cheap. They cost $80, and there really isn't anything else out there on the market that's more industrial. You know, this is kind of like hobby stuff. So yeah, it's a story. Oh yeah, I did got myself an Ethernet switch out here in the shop now, so we got my laptop hooked up to the internet. I originally was using that thing to tune up the tracer attachment, and you know, it's got some useful stuff on it for looking at drawings and things. It's hardwired networked into my house, so if I gotta print something, I can do it. Well, you know, I mean, when you put an order into Amazon, you know, and the router costs the switch costs $7, you go, what the hell, and throw it on there. So I did that. Camera mount was cheap. So anyways, that's the story. Enjoy the video. I'll be back later. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.
What could possibly be in this box? That's all the tracer goodies. That's everything that I need to put my lathe into that tracer mode. There's the riser plate, power supply, 2 sensors, and the motor unit. All fits in this nice box that my Chinese micrometers came in. Okay, so in order to solve this problem here, these 2 knobs hitting, you can see they don't hit now because I have installed a riser underneath my compound. And that allows me to keep everything straight, which makes all the scaling really nice. The only bummer about that is that your tools have to come way down to be on center again. So I adjusted this one. And you know, I'm not using the Noga arm anymore. I've got myself a fixed height tracer point. And over here, there's the other sensor for the feedback for the slide. So I got a new hunk of metal in the chuck there, and I'm going to put this on fast forward mode so you don't have to watch it all. So you know, it takes a while to make one of these, so we'll put on some tunes for you and you know, watch it go. Stand by. Okay, so we got a new piece of metal chucked up here. Let's see how we do. Well, there you go. I think that's one pretty good imitation of a handle. Okay, so here's the finished product. This is the way it comes off the lathe, just bare naked. And this is what happens after you hit it with a little 250 and then 600 for a couple minutes. Matches up pretty good. You know, we didn't do the full length of it, but you can see that's a tracer attachment. So thanks for the idea, Tom. It worked out pretty good, and now I can make some stuff like knobs for my lathe and curvy things that are real hard to do. Tom Lipton came up with it. I just adapted it to the world of electronics. So there you go. Okay, this one's for Brian Stanga. Teach you a little trick here. Normally you would have the work, you know, protruding out of the chuck like this, and you would use your fish tail gauge to get the bit square to the job. Okay, but that doesn't really tell you what angle to set the compound at. Well, actually it kind of does, because if you take a straight edge and you put it across the compound, you will see that the angle on the cutter and the angle on the compound are way off. So the sanity check is you want those two to be parallel. Well, that would be more like an angle like this. So if you once again loosen up the tool post, and I'm just eyeballing this now, but you get this, like, you know, parallel to the work. Now you can see that these two angles are the same. I wish I could get it closer, but maybe I can. Hang on here. Does that help? Nah, that doesn't help. But anyways, if you get this parallel to the compound, you can see that this is parallel. How can I show this correctly? The edge of the cutter is parallel to the compound. Now that we're not being so rudely interrupted by that heater. Okay, so anyways, Brian, yeah, you can see that this side of the cutter right here is parallel to my compound rest, which should be set at 29.5. I mean, I just eyeballed it for this, but that's how you tell where the right 30 degrees is. If you have it set 30 degrees this way, which is what my slide reads, which is I think what you were doing on your video there, then when this thing gets lined up with the work, you can see it's way off the angle. So there you go, Brian, a little tip from me. that I learned from God knows who. Mr. Fenner, Mr. Lipton, any one of a number of guys, maybe even Mr. Pete taught me that one. So that's how I always get my angles straightened out. You know, of course, you know, when you're really setting it up, you'd use a protractor, but this will give you the right idea of that you're at the correct 30 degrees so that it threads right. Hope that helped you.